See, Aisha, in the run-up to the election, historically, markets have always run up. And that's the historical data. The historical data has always endorsed that in the run-up to the election, whether it is 2019, 2014, or even beyond that, markets, they tend to rally. I think that is something which is on our side, and that is how markets have moved prior to the election, 2019, 2024, 2019. So, like they say that history may not repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes, and looks like this time it's no different. But the difference what may actually happen post the state election verdict is, first let's understand what it means. It clearly means that this is an endorsement by the voter for continuity, and it is also an endorsement for what the A, continuity in states where BJP has come back to power, and B, endorsement by the voter in states where BJP manifesto in a sense has gone down very well. So from a real voter standpoint, this is just an endorsement of the policy of the current administration, even at the state level. Now from a market standpoint, well, the general view post the exit poll on Friday was that it would not be a hat trick for BJP. At best, it could be a two out of 4 states. But since it's a hat trick, that is something which markets now would like to start pricing in. And that is what you're seeing on the screen right now. We are in for a rip-roaring Monday.
Yeah, it's been a clean sweep. It's not like it's a neck-and-neck, tough kind of fight. It's been by a landslide margin.
Yeah, landslide margin. And so, Aisha, you have to also, look at where the market setup is.
Yeah.
Now, in the run-up to the state election also, irrespective of the state election, markets had hit an all-time high. And that was nothing to do with the local cues. It was always a global rally, which in a sense was at play at least in the month of November. Starting from US equities to the kind of rally we've seen in Bitcoin, the comeback in gold and silver. So it was a rising tide phenomenon, which in a sense has been at play from last 4 to 5 weeks. Now, are we likely to differentiate ourselves? And I think we will differentiate ourselves because of the local tailwind and post the state election. So are we in for a bout of outperformance at a time when globally as it is, markets are looking strong? So it really could be a twin engine benefit. Globally there is a strong tailwind. B, locally there is a propeller effect which would kick in. So I think it's going to be a twin gain for the market per se. What you may actually see, Aisha, is that you see decisive move coming into large cap stocks. Yeah. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you said, it's been a pretty strong move already. Just to put things into perspective, how we've shaped up prior to this outcome is that most of the indices are at their all-time highs. Every single trading day of the last week, we saw the markets gain. All sectors wrapped up in the green. The FIIs as well have been consistently starting to buy. A lot of the nifty stocks as well, close to 94%, are trading above their 200 daily moving average. And this year, while the frontline index has gained about 12%, it's been the broader markets that have really stolen the show, with the small cap index notching up a solid 41% gain and the mid cap index up about 36%. And the fact that, Nikunj, those underperformers as well within the frontliners, the HDFC banks, ITCs, Reliance Industries of the world, once they play catch up, that will add a further bazooka as well.
I see three group of stocks doing well. One, over FI dominated financials and large cap stocks. If you are a foreign institutional investor, it's obvious that now you have no choice but to throw your ring in the hat, so to speak, because looking at the state election verdict, I guess the risk factor which everyone had for 2024, obviously that will get marginalized. So for an outside investor who's been selling into India, the choice is that looking at the construct of the economy, the bent of the economy, by force you will be forced to make a comeback. Second, I think a deep swell in defense and railways and some of the PSU stocks is coming. It may not be in PSU banks, but defense and railways, some of these stocks have seen a sizable correction from the recent high. So move in policy-dominated stocks, especially policy-dominated stocks by the center, defense and railways, and perhaps power. That theme could make a comeback. And third, any guesses? I think Adani group of stocks.
Okay, yeah.
I think Adani group of stocks obviously could make a comeback. So the three things I see the market moving. One, large cap stocks which are moved into hibernation, which are FI dominated, they will make a comeback. If you're an outsider, you would say, okay, do I come now after May 2024 15% higher, or do I chance my arm now?
Yeah.
Because ultimately you want to be in India,
Yeah.
looking at the construct of the economy and looking at what is happening in the world. You've been selling. Too bad. You'll be forced to come back at higher levels, or you can come back now. So I think that decisive turn will come now if you're a foreign investor. B, PSU stocks, I think they've corrected enough, especially policy dominated stocks. That's second. And third would be a Adani group of stocks. And the interesting dark horse in my book now actually would be OMCs. Because considering that more and more states are now with BJP in terms of the policy framework, and especially when it comes to excise duty and other local, state factors in some of the oil marketing companies, could that be in sync with what the central mood point is? I think that is one group which could see re-rating going forward.
Yeah, and that group has already begun its move. In fact, no, not just this year, but if you just look at the month-to-date data, that already is indicating a phenomenal uptick. But I think, it's great that when you flagged off these large cap stocks which are away from the life highs, and given their percentage weightage and bearing on the Nifty, a move in these is, we're looking at not just 21K, but even beyond. HDFC Bank is 13% away from its life high and a 13% weightage on the index. Reliance, 9% weightage, 9% away from its all-time high. ICICI Bank, 7.5% weightage on the index. So these are big boys we're talking about, and a meaningful move in the markets if they were to make a comeback.
Yeah, and market has not seen a meaningful move.
Yeah.
On last count, I checked, I think on Thursday evening, I've not looked at Friday's data. The YTD change for Nifty is just in double digit, barely just above 10-11%. And the Bank Nifty has actually given no return. So frankly, you can look at the market from the prism of small and mid-cap stocks and say, okay, there is a bubble and there is a trouble and there is excitement happening in the IPO market. But Nifty is giving you just 12% return versus small cap and versus mid-cap. So even if large cap stocks, they rally in a substantial quantum here, it will not be called as a bubble or a trouble. You have to understand that they are still cheap and they've actually not participated. So are we at that turn where suddenly the influx of flows will move back into large cap stocks? Because if you're an institutional investor, you may just derive comfort and you may be having this entire FOMO effect. So I think FOMO is the right word which actually could be at play when it comes to institutional investors.